Now that we've talked about the basics of complex sketches, features, and surfaces, let's get started on an example. We're going to start a new file using our part millimeter template and start a new sketch on the top plane. Now, the thing that we want to create is a computer mouse, and this has been done to death as a CAD example. But it's a really good example because it allows us to take a look at some complex surfaces and really understand how we need to break certain parts up. Now, certain types of parts are easier to do than others. If you're talking about something like a very simple electronics housing that simply has a top and a bottom, it's much easier to break that shape up than it is something like a current CAD mouse or a 3D mouse or some sort of newer Logitech device. They all have a lot of curvature to them. So we're going to take a look at creating something like this. It doesn't necessarily follow any images or anything, but we want to look at the process. So on the top plane, we need to decide a few things. Now, the first thing I want to decide is the size of my mouse. So I'm going to start some lines for construction, and I'm going to start from the origin. Now, first, I'm going to go up 50 millimeters. I'm going to double click to restart my line tool. I'm going to go down 75 millimeters, double click. I'm going to go out to the right 35 millimeters and double click. Now, because we're dealing with something that is not symmetric, now, unfortunately, if you go back several years, you had very blocky, symmetric looking mice. But nowadays, we have things that are very organic looking. So we need to go out to the left as well. Now, in this case, I'm going to go ahead and use the same dimension, 35. Now, even though I could put an equal relation between these two, I want to keep these dimensions sort of separated in case I want to go back and modify one and not the other. Then I'll pull these dimensions sort of out of the way so I have a really good idea of what I'm looking at. So we've made, for all intensive purposes, a cross. If it goes 50 up from the origin, 75 down, 35 to the left, and 35 to the right. Now this is going to be the base of our design. Now at the top, I'm going to use a 3-point arc. So I'm going to start from the left to the right, and then draw a very mild curvature arc. I'm going to control select these 2 points, make them horizontal, and then I want to take this midpoint and I want to intersect it or make coincident. So now what I have is an arc that I can move up and down, I can modify, and you'll notice that the points are floating because they're horizontal, they sort of stay the same. Now I'm going to give some dimensions here. I'm going to make these horizontal, and I'm going to make them a distance of 50 millimeters. I'm going to give it a curvature value of 100, and you see that now we have a fully defined arc. Now this is a good starting point for creating a spline. So I'm going to start a new spline, and in this case, I'm going to use a style spline. I'm going to take this point, and I'm going to drag it out straight with 3 sections, and then I'm going to start dragging it down. And then I'm going to end at this point here. Now, one problem we have when we're using something like the style spline is that we don't have a point on the spline that we can use to relate to something like this. But I want to start by taking this line, and this line, making all 3 of them collinear. But you'll notice that sometimes, especially with this first line, it's selecting the spline and not the actual control polygon line. So we need to deselect the spline and make sure that we're grabbing all 3 straight edges to help control this. I then want to make them collinear. I then want to go back and select the first one, control select the arc, and I want to make them tangent. Now what we've essentially done is we've created a G3 continuity. Now when we're talking about creating complex surfaces, this is something that you're going to have to look into. It's not really part of this course here because again, we are talking about basics, but just note that taking these 3 segments and creating a collinear relation between them and then making them tangent to this geometry here allows us to do something that really can make us create a much better set of curves. So you notice that these are all collinear, tangent with this line. I'm then going to select the spline, control select this point, and I'm going to merge them. So you notice how that brings that back in. I can then take this line, make it horizontal, and that allows me some control. Now you'll notice I'm not able to move these points around. We really don't have any more control over this. So we have to right click, we have to insert a control vertice. I'll just go ahead and add one there and add one here. Now I can take these points and move them around. Now that we have added a few more points, let's go ahead and select the spline, go into the properties, and turn off local edit. Once we've turned that off, we can start to manipulate these points and get a little bit better idea of what our curvature is going to look like. Now, it's a good idea when you have these 3 individual lines at the front that you make sure that when you're controlling the curvature, that you don't have something very interesting going on like this. You notice that this point has actually come back and it's overlapping. So I'm going to hit undo until that point is back out to the right. And then I'm going to take this line, and the original line, and I'm going to make them equal as well. So that means as they move in and out, it gives me a little bit easier control over them. So what we're doing now is we're trying to make the base shape of our mouse. The reason that this line has to be horizontal here is because we want to make sure that as it crosses this line or this edge, that we have tangency between the two. We're going to end up mirroring this curve to the other side once we get it to be a fairly nice profile. I think I want to make the back end just a little bit wider and maybe pull these points out and drag this one out a little bit. So you notice that as we do this, one curve is affecting really all the rest of the curves. But once you get it to a good point, you want to select it. Then we want to mirror entities. We're going to copy about one of the vertical reference lines and say OK. So what we've done here is we've created the base shape for our mouse. Let's go ahead and say OK. Now, if you remember from our complex surfaces example, we used helper surfaces. But in the case of our mouse, this is not going to be going in any direction that an extrude would work. On the back edge of the mouse, it's going to be very blended. It's going to come in at a very steep angle, where at the front, we could possibly get away with an extrude. So this is something that we're going to have to approach. And we're going to approach it by making a boundary surface or a lofted surface that goes around this. And we're going to use relations that we add to help create the direction we want this to go. So the first thing we want to do is sketch on the right plane. Now, I'm going to rotate this view just a little bit so we get a better idea of where the geometry is that we're dealing with. So I'm going to start by placing a straight line, and you'll notice that it's actually allowing me to snap to this point. I'm going to draw it down. I'm going to say options for construction, and I'm going to draw a vertical line. Then I want to add a dimension between these two, giving them an angle of 10 degrees, and then I want to dimension this line. I want to make sure that I have its aligned dimension. I'm going to say 10 millimeters. The dimension doesn't really matter as long as all the entities you place on here are going to be the same length. Otherwise, you might get some very interesting curvature. I'm going to exit this, and I'm going to do another sketch on the right plane. And this time, we're going to do a very similar process on the back edge. Another line, I'm going to snap to that point again, and then I'll draw another vertical line and make sure that this one's construction. I'm going to take this line, Control select my first one, I'm going to make them equal. That way that original 10 millimeter dimension is driving the length of both of them. Then we're going to add an angle here. Now in this case, we're going to go a bit steeper and say 45. Now if we take a look at this, the surface that we're going to create on the front edge is going to be at a 10-degree angle, so it's fairly steep here. The one on the back edge is at a 45, so that means our helper surface or extruded surface is going to be at a steeper angle and allow us to have a tangency with the surface as it comes in. Now, of course, we might have to come back and manipulate these, say go down to 40 degrees or up, whatever we need to do. But it's just very important that we have this defined and we can come back at any point in time and manipulate those surfaces. So let's go ahead and hop out of here and take a look at what we have. So far we have sketch 1, which is underdefined because our spline still has some flexibility in it. Then we have sketch 2 and sketch 3, which are helpers, or really helper edges that we're going to use, and they're currently located in the right plane. Now we want to sketch on the front plane. Now on the front plane, we're looking at a right-handed mouse, so the curvature or the geometry on the right-hand side is going to be different than the left-hand side. Now we're going to go ahead and do these both in the same sketch just so we can see the difference in the process. So I'm going to do a line from here and down and to the left, here and down and to the right. And again, I want to take both of these and I want to set them equal to the length of the original line. So they're all 10 millimeters. Now, as we take a look at this, of course, we're going to have to add a for construction line. And this time I'm going to do it from the origin straight down. Then I can add a dimension from here to this line. Now, in this case, at this point in our design, this one is going to be pretty steep. We're going to say 5 degrees. Then I'm going to add an angle on the other side. This one's going to be a little bit less, since we're going to say 10 degrees. Let's go ahead and drag these dimensions down, get them a little bit closer, and say OK. Now this is a good point that we can save the design. So let's go ahead and save it. And we're going to save this one as complex part design 1. Now, if you want to follow along with me, go ahead and save your own file. If you want to carry on from my starting point, we can use this as the jump off point for the next video.